box and whisker plot is a way of displaying information so that you can take a look at a set of data and you can kind of see where the lowest part is, where the highest part is, and you can see where the middle part is all clustered near. So you can see how data is spread out, and you can see where the middle of everything is clustered near. It's another way of graphing information that shows you the spread of the information, and it also shows you where the bulk of the middle part of the information is clustered near. So box and whisker plots are a way of displaying information to show how spread out things are It's mainly focused on spread and also kind of how clustered things are towards the center. So in order to understand box and whisker plots, the first thing that we need to talk about is something that I know that you've covered before, and that's the idea of the median. Do you guys remember that word median? Okay. I heard one person say no. I know for a fact that like 5th or 6th grade math has covered median with you guys before. So what if I said mean, median, mode? What if I said those three together? Would you remember it then?
One of them is average.
Okay, one of them is average. Good. So mean is the average. Okay. So mean is the average. You guys remember what mean is now. Now what about median and mode? Do you remember what those two are? Okay, hold on. So I heard somebody say, okay, so median, I heard somebody say middle. Median is the middle number, right? Yeah. And then mode is the most frequently occurring number. So mean is the average, median is the middle number, and mode is the most frequently occurring number, okay? Now of those three things, mean, median, and mode, only 2 of them are ever actually useful. Mode is garbage. Nobody who does math for a living ever uses mode for anything. It's stupid and garbage, and it should never be taught. Mode, yeah, it's garbage. It's on your standards though, and like when you take your test at the end of the year, they'll ask you about it. So like, whatever. But like, people who do math for a living don't actually care about mode. Anyway. Okay, so mean is average and median is middle. So let's say that we have a, let's say that I gave you guys a test here and I have these test scores and I want to have a way that I can look at how the test scores were displayed. Like I want to have a way of displaying the test scores. So let's say I had somebody who scored a 100%. Let's say I had somebody who scored a 40%. I had another person who scored an 80. I had somebody who scored 90, somebody who scored a 75, somebody else who scored a, let's say, 82, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, bless you, let's do a 92, bless you, 73, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, let's do 2 more. 95, and we'll do one more. Let's say I had a 54. Let's say those were the test scores. All right, now if I wanted to do a mean, an average, I would add them all up and divide by how many there are, right? So I'm not going to do a mean for what we're doing today. Instead, what I'm going to look at first is a median. So to do a median, I need to order these from smallest to largest. So first, what's the smallest test score? 40. Okay, so I'm going to go smallest to largest. So smallest is 40. I'm going to underline it just to show that I've done that one first. So what's the next lowest test score?
54.
I'm going to underline that just so that I know that I've used it. 54. What's next smallest?
73.
73. 75. Is there 78? Okay. So there's an 80. Okay. Apparently you did. There's an 82. There's a 90. There's a 92. There's a 95. And then there's the 100. So now I've organized them from smallest to largest. So if I want to find the median, I have to find the middle. So what I can do for the middle is I can just kind of count from the outside in. So I'm going to go these two, these two, these two, these two. Wait, sorry, I was doing that wrong. These two, these two, these two, these two. And then it's between 80 and 82.
So that would be 81.
So yeah, so if there's two that are in the middle, like there is in this case, then to find the one that's in the middle, I would add together 80 plus 82 and divide by 2. Right, it's going to be 81. So, but if it weren't something that were quite so easy to do, I would add the two, like say if it were, 75 and 138, that were the two numbers in the middle, I'd add the two numbers together and divide by 2. Okay? So 80 plus 82 is 162, and then divide by 2, and I get 81. So the median number here is 81. You guys with me on that? Nathan shouted it out. Kate seemed to jump to it pretty quickly. Does everybody else understand it, though? Why 81 is the median number? Even though 81 isn't actually one of the scores?
Yeah. Okay.
So what I can do here now is I've kind of separated the data into two pieces. I've got a lower half and I've got an upper half. So I'm going to create a couple other numbers here. First, what's the lowest number out of all these data? Okay. What's the highest number? All right. So these three numbers are three of what's called a 5-number summary. So a 5-number summary. A 5-number summary is built up of 5 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mathematicians aren't super creative, so if we called it a 5-number summary, there's going to be 5 numbers involved. We wouldn't call it that and have there be 8 numbers. That would just be weird. So of the 5-number summary, the first number is going to be the lowest number in a set of data, and the last number is going to be the highest number in a set of data. The middle number is going to be the median. And then the second number is something called quartile 1, which I'm going to abbreviate as Q1. Quartile 1. So this word is called quartile, Q-U-A-R-T-I-L-E. So Q-U-A-R-T, in math, that prefix, anybody want to take a guess about what that means? 4, right? Quart. Like there's 4 quarts in a gallon, kind of, sort of. I'm going to abbreviate this as Q1. Now over here, this isn't going to be Q2. This is going to be quartile 3.
What's quartile 2?
Quartile 2 is the median. The reason quartile 2 is the median is because if it's 2/4, 2/4 is exactly the same as 1/2, and the median is half. So this is 1/4, this is 2/4 or 1/2, and then this is going to be 3/4. All right? So I'm just going to fill in 3 of those 5 numbers, the 3 that we already know. We know what the lowest number is, which is 40. We know what the median is, which we just found, which is 81. And we know what the highest is, which is 100. Now we need to find out what the quartile 1 is and what quartile 3 is. Now to find out quartile 1, we're going to just look at the lowest numbers, and we're not going to include 81 in that. We're going to just take the lower half of the data, and we're going to find the median of the lower part of the data. Okay? So the median, or the middle number of the lower half, is going to be essentially the first fourth of the data or the first quartile? Kinda, sorta. So if I cut off the entire first half of the data, and I'm not including 81 because 81 wasn't really a number that was part of this, now I'm going to find the median of that first half. So to find the median of the first half, I'm going to knock off those two, knock off these two, and then what number is in the middle? So 73 is the first quarter of the data, or quartile 1. Kinda, sorta. Now I'm going to do the same thing for the upper half of the data. I'm going to find the middle part of the upper half. And whatever I find there is going to be 3/4 of the data and the third quartile. So to do that, I'm going to 82 and 100, 90 and 95. And so 92 is quartile 3, or 3/4 of the data up. So this is the lowest number. This number here is 1/4 of the way up. This is half the way up. This is 3/4 of the way up. And then this is all of the way up. Kinda, sorta? Yes, no, maybe so? Yeah. All right. So I'm going to use these 5 numbers here to make a box and whisker plot. And here's how a box and whisker plot is going to look. So once you have the 5-number summary, making a box and whisker plot is really easy. So I need to be able to go from 40 up to 100 on an axis here. Excuse me. So I'm going to choose whatever scale I want to. I'm going to count by 20s. So I'm going to go 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, and then I'm going to go a little bit higher. I'm going to go to 120. I'm going to make a line at each of these 5 numbers. So I'm going to make a line at 40. I'm going to make a line at about where 73 would be. So 73 is between 60 and 80. Is 73 closer to 80 or closer to 60? Closer to 80, right? So here's about where 70 is, right? 70 would be directly between 60 and 80. So I'm going to go just a little bit further than that. I'm going to make a line at 81, which would be just a little bit past 80. I'm going to make a line at 92. Here's 80, here's 100. 92 would be just a little bit past the middle of those two. And then I'm going to make a line at 100. So I've made my 5 lines. I made a line at 40, a line at 73, a line at 81, a line at 92, and a line at 100. You guys following me? Now, the middle 3 lines, quartile 1, the median, and quartile 3, these get connected into a box. The middle 3 lines get connected into a box. The lowest and the highest are the whiskers. So the box is the middle part, and the whiskers are the part that are coming off as like feelers to show you how spread out the data is.
Got the very uneven whisker.
Right. And so this is showing you that that person who scored a 40 is
very weird here.
Yeah, they're specifically lower than most of the people. Like, this is showing you that most of the people who took that test scored, like half of the people who took the test scored in this area. So the person who scored a 40 is specifically way lower than most of the people who scored in this area. This is half of the people in the test, kind of, sort of. Whereas if, like, this person who scored a 100 isn't that far away from half the people in the test who scored right around here. Does that make any sense? So this is a way of displaying information that shows you kind of how spread out they are and where most of the people are clumped together. Kind of, sort of? Maybe? Only on days that end in Y?
So, today but not tomorrow.
Yes, definitely today, but not tomorrow. Okay, so let's take a look at some more of these. Oh, I had to did not mean for that one to make it on here. I did not mean for that one to make it on here either. So there's 2 that you're going to get to skip on your assignment today. So that's good. That's something.
We get skip stuff.
So let's take a look at your assignment. Don't freak out when you see question number 1. You don't have to do question number 1. Okay, so don't forget about question number 1. You don't have to do question number 1.
What's the other one?
You don't have to do question number 1, and you don't have to do question number 6. So don't freak out about question number 1, and don't forget about question number 6. You don't have to do those 2. You're going to need a separate sheet of paper, though.
What's this?
Yep. Don't freak out about question number 1. Don't freak out about question number 6. You don't have to do those 2.
Mr. Taft, I found a relative of yours.
Yes.
William Howard Taft.
Yes. He was the 27th president.
Is he actually a relative?
Distantly.
Cool. Seriously?
Distantly.
What do you mean by that?
I mean like super, super, super distantly. William Howard Taft was a super, super, super distant
But
relative.
you're like actually related? Right?
Yeah.
What?
Do you tell people that when they like
You should run for
when you meet
president.
them?
It's kind of.
Not when I meet them. No. I'm not. It's not something I'm like.
It's the first day you meet.
It's
I'm
not-
related to a president.
Yeah. No. It's not something I'm super proud of. Because I mean, it's not like it's anything that I
I've never
did.
heard of him, so
Okay.
I just.
He's the president who directly followed the first Roosevelt.
So what?
He's the president who directly followed the first Roosevelt. He's the only person who's ever been both president and chief justice of the Supreme Court in their lifetime. And at the time, he was the heaviest president that we've ever had.
Oh, these are older
No, believe it or not, President-elect Trump
That's what it was.
will weigh more than he did.
Right there.
Didn't he get stuck?
President-elect, no, that didn't actually happen. President-elect Trump, however, will weigh more than William Howard Taft did.
He weighs.
How much does Trump weigh?
I forget what the numbers are, but he will weigh more than William Howard Taft did.
Have you ever played drunk?
Okay, so, shh, quiet. Let's take a look at question number 2 here. Now, first thing we got to do is we have to organize these from smallest to largest. So, we have to find out who was youngest at inauguration.
There's 42.
So 42, Theodore Roosevelt.
Found it.
Is there anybody younger than Theodore Roosevelt?
Yes. No.
Nope. So we got
42?
42 for Theodore Roosevelt. I'm going to put a little mark next to it so I don't count that one again. Next one would be 48, Franklin Pierce. There's a 49, James K. Polk. And again, President-elect Trump is 70, so he will be the oldest president that we've ever inaugurated.
Trump is not.
Yes, President-elect Trump is 70.
So he's not the oldest president ever voted.
Yeah, he will. When we inaugurate him, January 20th, he will be the oldest president we've ever inaugurated.
Oh my God.
He's also going to be the fattest president we've ever inaugurated.
So what? Okay.
The first fruit as president.
Yeah,
So why do people call him President-elect Trump?
because he's not the president yet.
I know, but like, why is it that?
Because he's the president that we elected. So the title is President-elect until January 20th.
And then he's Mr. President.
And then he will be President Trump. Stop that. Okay.
One is 51.
Yeah. There's two 51s. Yeah, there's 254s.
Yeah, there's two. And there's 355s. Two 57s. Yeah.
55, 55, 55. Seven, 57, 58.
Going off the screen.
61, 61.
64.
Okay. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 16, 17. So, okay, since on this one, since 55 is the median, that middle 55 is the median,
Which 55 is it?
it,
Middle one, the left or other
it's the middle 55.
Okay.
Since the middle 55 is, at least I think it is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Since the middle 55 is the median, when you're trying to find the lower quartile, you're going to include that 55 in the lower quartile. So you're going to include that as part of the lower quartile, and then you're also going to include it as part of the upper quartile.
Both 55s?
Yeah, so you're going to include it as part of the lower part. So going from here, you're going to include the median in the lower. So 42.
Like both of the number 55s?
Yeah.
Okay.
So 51.
Sorry, say that again. Yes. For this one, it won't always make everything easier though. So then that's what number 1 would look like. Or, sorry, number 2 would look like. You don't have to do number 1 or number 6. So the box is made up of quartile 1, the median, and quartile 3. And then the lowest and the highest are the whiskers. Kind of, sort of. So then 3, it's the same thing, it's just you're doing it with life expectancy in different countries. It'll make you want to move to Canada. Well, maybe it won't. Maybe you don't want to live long. Or Israel. They have, because their life expectancy is longer than the United States.
What?
They have socialized medicine.
Okay.
So does Canada. Their life expectancy is longer.
The U.S. is on here.
What?
What's the life expectancy in the
77.
U.S.?
Oh, so it, like,
I'm moving to Canada. I'm moving to Canada.
Same.
They have socialized medicine, so their life expectancy is longer than.
Let's go
Technically,
live
though, I
in.
think of Canada.
Let's go in.
Weird,
Let's go live in
complicated
Quebec.
health
Then they speak
garbage.
French.
Montreal, practice France.
Yeah.
We're gonna go live in
Canada's too
Canada.
hard to live in.
No, you're gonna come live in Canada.
Nah.
It's colder than
I'll
it is
move
here,
to
though.
the UK.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah, let's move to the UK. They
I'm
speak.
moving to the UK.
You can put British accent.
They speak lots of different things.
They speak like English. I don't even know. English and English.
They speak lots of things in about
White.
languages.
I would not want to go live in Central African Republic.
Nope.
They die at 50.
Yep. Or Guinea-Bissau.
My grandma's like 89.
Okay.
My great.
Just because our life expectancy is 77 does not mean that like everybody.
That long.
Yeah.
My great grandmother.
I'm not living in the Guinea-Bissau.
I wouldn't want to live in Mali either.
I want to look this up now. How life expectancy country is.
It's accurate as of 2010, I think.
It's like 6 years ago.
Mhm.
Oh, we should go back.
I'm still moving to the UK.
I'm still moving to Canada.
Not on this list.
Socialized medicine.
Look longer.